No one's gonna have fun with this but me. But that's fine, because I do this for me, for real. Me and sometimes Sydney. I respect, she probably makes about quarter to half the way through of these, and I fuck with that. She's real as fuck for that. But yeah, I just have a lot of, and this is actually really stupid because it's about Percy Jackson, and I'm thinking about Percy and Annabeth, because really the whole arc, because where do I want to start? There's so many places I could start. So I've been watching the show, right? I'm obsessed with the show, perhaps too much at my grown age, but in my defense, it's not like I just randomly stumbled across this show as a grown adult, at like this kid show as a grown adult, and was like, wow, I love this. But like, I was raised on these books. Like, I first read them in 4th grade, and then I was deeply obsessed with them for many years. And like, I never really went away. I've always fucked with Percy Jackson. It's always been like my favorite book series. If you had asked me at like, it doesn't matter, if you would ask me at any age, what's your favorite book? I'd say Percy Jackson. And I still would say that. Like, it's so serious to me. So I do consider myself an expert on the subject. If you have any questions about it, you can always direct them to me. I do have office hours. I'll put those in the description if you guys ever need anything. I do have office hours, and then of course you can come to class Tuesday, Thursday from 1:30 to 3:30. So if you're taking Percy Jackson 101, I'll be your professor, and I will see you on Tuesday. Thinking about Percy Jackson as I need to stop, as I always am these days. Also, a patient gave me this blanket for Christmas. She gave me this blanket and a $15 Starbucks gift card. Tell me that's not so sweet. Sometimes I'm like this is an entry level position. Like, it really can't get any lower. At the company I work at, it really can't get any lower than this. But it's like, and I was a step above this when they hired me as the step above this, and I hated that, and I said, I need you to demote me now. And so they demoted me, and I like this position so much better, but it also makes me know, like, I don't want to move up in the company, so it does feel like a dead end for me right now. So I gotta figure out what I'm doing with my life long term, but right now I'm kind of just chilling at work, putting the magnet on people's heads, hanging out with them. I spend 6 weeks getting to know these people, becoming basically friends with these people. I'll be like, hey, how was your kid's graduation? And they'll be like, my kid's graduation was great. How was the club? And I'll say, it was bumping. And it's like, but then after 6 weeks, I never see them again. What do you mean? What do you mean I never see them again? That's cruel and evil. That's cruel for me and cruel for them. I usually care way more than they do. Usually they're like, oh, finally I don't have to fucking come here every day. But I'm like, are you sure you don't want to come every day and hang out with me? Because I really am going to miss you. There are a lot of patients I've been sad when they ended treatment. There are very few patients who I've been sad when they ended treatment and like actively miss them afterwards. I have like, I have 3 or 4 that I can think of that I do actively miss after they finish treatment. I still am like, damn, I wonder what they're doing. Wish they were still in treatment. Wish they were still here. One is I probably can't say all this. Is that HIPAA? One is a girl who she's a lot younger than me. She's like 6 years younger than me. She's not a lot younger than me. But we like really bonded and shit, and she was really, at the end of treatment when she finished, she like sobbed hugging me, and I was like, Doug, you're gonna make me cry. And it was really, really sweet. She made me a card, and she painted something for me, and I have the card and the painting still in my office. And was really fucking sweet. And I think about her all the time. That reminds me, I have holiday cards I need to send out because I don't think they're gonna make it in time for Christmas. But also they're all local, so like they might make it in time for Christmas. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the 4 holiday cards I have, because I'm only sending out 4 because I only had 4 stamps. The 4 holiday cards that I have are the 4 patients that I miss. So if you're a patient and you get a holiday card from me, I miss you. But there's that girl, and then there's this, I don't remember how old she was. Probably like in her late 30s to 40s, perhaps early 50s. I'm really bad at judging age, but she was my 8 a.m. patient at like end of August, beginning of September. She was my 8 a.m. patient, and she was a trip. Like, every day when I treated her, I would be like, after she'd leave, I'd be like, hell yeah. She was just so, she's one of those people, like, she always has something to talk about, and it's really funny because a lot of the time, the patients who I love at the end and who I'm gonna miss started out as patients I didn't really like, and like who I dreaded treating. But then by the end, I was like, I love you. I wish you didn't have to leave. But she was, she would watch the most random shit. And 8 in the morning, we're watching a Tubi movie. There was one movie she put on. It was a Tubi movie, and we never finished it. That's the thing with her. She would put on Tubi movies and then never finish them. And I'd be like, well, I wanted to see the end. Why can't, I wanted to see. Come on now. Or she was into this, the show on Netflix called, what is it? It's either Beauty in Black or it's Black in Beauty. It's one of the two. But she, like, a new season came out, and she watched through the whole thing, like, day to day in treatment. And, like, I low-key got really into it. And, she, like, finished, the second half of the season came out, and she, like, binged it over the weekend. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? I wanted to know what happened. And so she explained it all for me. And then she was, like, doing some, like, renovations to her house, and she would always show me pictures. She'd always keep me updated, and she'd say, what color paint do you think? And I would say, I like that one better. You're telling me that's not my friend? You're telling me I can never speak to her again? Bro, I know it's weird because of the nature of, like, the job and talking about, like, mental health and stuff. There have been many times where people will be, like, talking about stuff, and they'll be like, I've never said that out loud before, or, like, I've never told anyone that before. But it's, like, it's so much easier to talk to, like, a stranger than it is for someone, like, to talk to someone in your life. So it's, like, people will, like, say things that are, like, wow, like, I've never said that before. Like, I've never talked about this kind of stuff with somebody. And so I don't know, it, like, it warms my heart, and it makes me like, unfortunately, to develop an attachment to everything and everyone, like, in a professional way. Like, I never cross, like, a professional line. Like, I don't talk to these people after treatment. I don't add them on social media. I don't tell them anything about my personal life, unless they ask. If they ask, like, well, like, small talk, I'll be like, hey, do you have any pets? And they'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool, I have pets. And then, like, small talk, I'll, like, tell stuff about myself, like, just to, you know, move the conversation along so it doesn't feel like I'm interviewing them. But sometimes people will ask me, like, oh, have you ever done TMS before? And I'll be like, no, I haven't done it. Like, they did do the mapping on me. So TMS, it's you put magnet on head, magnet stimulate brain, magnet wake brain up, brain make not sad. Yeah, in the fewest words. So it's like a magnet that I place on their head, and it just kind of like boop, 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 and then it pauses. Boop, 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 boop. And I kind of just sit there and monitor the machine. It's actually so stupid and ridiculous how easy my job is, and like how much money I make to do it. Like, I don't make a crazy amount of money. Please don't think that I make a crazy amount of money. But for considering what the job is, it's ridiculous, actually. I think the job, it like that stuff itself is not hard. I do think like the only hard aspect of the job is like the emotional stuff, like talking to people about oftentimes the worst things that have ever happened to them. And like, or there have been times I've been talking to patients and like after they leave I just have to cry a little bit. Sometimes it's really sweet stuff, like that girl, the younger girl who cried when she finished treatment. I don't remember what she said to me, but it really like, I don't know, it really got me. It got me. And after she left, I had to like compose myself a little bit. She thanked me for giving her hope. That's what she said. She hugged me. This wasn't at the end of her treatment. This was like a random day, and we were kind of just talking, and she, after like she finished treatment, I took her out of the chair. She was like, "Hey, can I give you a hug?" And I said, "Yeah, if you want." And so she gave me a hug, and she said, "Thank you for giving me hope today." And I said, "Oh my God." So it's like shit like that makes me feel like I don't want to leave this job, even though it's an entry-level position, and like I don't make enough money to sustain my life forever. Like, but it's just so rewarding. And I know the obvious solution is like, for people always tell me like, you should go to grad school, you should be a therapist. But I don't really want to do that. The biggest thing I like about my job is like, sometimes it's super casual. Sometimes we just watch Modern Family on TV and they do their thing. I do my thing on computer. Shit I'm always behind on because I'm a fucking moron. I don't know. I never do things when they're supposed to be done, so I'm always behind on things. But sometimes we just do that. Sometimes we chill, and then sometimes we talk about our pets or like what shows we're watching. And then sometimes we talk about like the dark shit, like childhood trauma and the feelings that they have that they don't tell anyone else. So I feel like that's really the hard part, is like the emotional aspect of it. Is sometimes it's really hard not to think about it, like that kind of stuff when you go home. Or like not to worry. There have been times where I've like worried about patients, like after, like on the weekend, I'll just be like worried, not necessarily for their safety, because like if I'm worried for their safety, like obviously there's protocols that we have to follow, which I've never had to do, knock on wood. I've never had to call in a wellness check or anything, but it'll just be like, I hope they're okay, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just shit that you can't help but think about. Like I have trouble compartmentalizing things sometimes. But yeah, sometimes it's, people tell me, oh, you should be a therapist. But I don't know, it seems like like I said, sometimes I just want it to be chill. Sometimes I just want it to be casual. Like I don't want to have those super hard, super emotional conversations with people every single day. And like, you know, and I don't know, it's just hard. I don't know if I can really see myself doing that. I don't know. It's something that like I've thought about off and on since I was like probably in middle school. Because here's the dumbassery. I, like through middle school and through high school, I knew, like in the back of my mind, I knew when I went to school I was gonna study psychology. Like I never really, there was never really anything else that I knew. Like when my first semester of college, I don't remember what it was. It was like, I don't remember. I had to take a bunch of science classes. I had to take like chemistry and calculus and shit. I should probably remember. It was the first semester, and I was in denial because I was like, well, it's like my psychology degree is going to be useless. Like I don't really want to go to grad school. My psychology degree is going to be useless. Spoiler alert, I changed my major anyways. And do I feel like it's kind of useless? Yeah. Do I feel like it just sits on my shelf as a decoration and collects dust? Yeah. However, I can't see myself studying anything else. Like I genuinely don't know what else I would have studied unless it was another like useless, like another degree that I wouldn't be able to do anything with. Like the only other thing I can think of is like maybe English, because I did minor in English, and I really enjoyed like the literature classes and like the writing classes. I do enjoy that kind of stuff. So I maybe would have majored in that, but I feel like that's more useless than a psychology degree, you know? So I stuck with psychology, but the further I got, and like my thought in high school and kind of like going into my first year of college was that, oh, I'm gonna study psychology and then I'm gonna go to grad school and I'm gonna do like counseling or therapy of some kind. But the more I got into like my degree, the more I was like, I don't know if I want to go to grad school. Grad school seems hard, it seems boring, and I don't know if I want to do that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. And then sometimes I've like toyed with the idea of like being a school psychologist. But I have no experience working with kids. So I don't know if that's the right move for me. But I do think it'd be interesting because I find like teenagers so fascinating. Not in like an experimental, like observational way, but just like, I don't know, something about them. It's such like a unique time in life that it's like there's so much happening. Like not just physically, like puberty and shit, but like mentally and emotionally. There's so much happening and so much changing that I find it really interesting. One of my, obviously for psychology, I took a lot of psychology classes, as you might think, but I also took a lot of sociology classes. Also, people who major in sociology are God's strongest soldiers, because every sociology class I took was so depressing. There was one I took, I wish I could remember what it's called. It was diversity something. I don't know. We talked about a lot of like we talked about like racism and how it tracks like back through history and like how it still impacts things today. Like ever since I took that class, it's like genuinely altered like my perception of the entire world. Like the way that racism especially still like impacts things that you don't really think about, or there's like you can still see the effects of like the Jim Crow era and even like slavery. Like there are still things that you can still like, it still impacts us, like the society today, and it's like shit that you wouldn't think about, that it's like, I don't know, it just really, like I said, it just really like changed my whole perspective on on things. I really wish I could remember what that class was called. I really, really enjoyed that class though. Like I think it was called cultural diversity, but that might also be a different class that I took. That's gonna actually piss me off that I can't remember what that class is called. Like I said, it was like, I think that might be my favorite class that I took in college, and I don't even remember what it was called. But I know it was a sociology class, and I took it. Did I take it at Schoolcraft? It was either one of the last classes I took at Schoolcraft or one of the first classes I took at Wayne State. This is actually really gonna drive me nuts. I might have to pull up my fucking transcript because it's gonna piss me off so bad. So, I don't know. It just like, oh, I'm being loud. Like, it's actually really not that serious. Like, it doesn't matter what the class is called, but I need to know, you know? There's that class. What else did I take that I enjoyed? I took a human sexuality class. That was really interesting. It was, I don't remember what any of these fucking classes are called, bro. We read like gay literature. This class we read like gay literature. That's all I can remember about it. Oh my god. Okay. My transcript has to be in my email somewhere, right? It does, right? It's gotta be in my email somewhere. I thought that was a customer. I was about to crash out. Transcript. What it was to it's not loading. It's not loading. Wait. Transcript. This is an official transcript. I don't want an official transcript. Oh my god, I'm about to kill myself. Is it this? Ooh, this might be. Oh, it is. It is. Okay. Oh, cool. It doesn't say the name of the class. It just says sociology to or bitch. I can't speak. Human sexuality. That's the one I think I'm thinking of. I enjoyed my abnormal psych class. I thought that was interesting. I took an intro to creative writing. I did like that. I also took an intro to film class. I enjoyed that. Wait, no, human sexuality is not the one I'm talking about. Is it? It's either this gender and sexual. It is. It's this English class, gender and sexuality studies. We read like gay books, or we read like literature through like a gay lens. Like I wish I could remember what that book is called, but we read The Portrait of Dorian Gray. I thought that I really enjoyed that actually. What's this other book called? Book about little girl who dad wishes she was boy. No, that's not the one I want. Find a book by plot. I think her name was Steven. She had like a boy name. Her name might also not be Steven. This might throw everything off if her name's not Steven. Why did I swear it was though? No, it's not that one, is it? I don't think it's any of these. Wait. Girl who dressed as boy. And in love with, I think she moves to Paris. The description I've put in this website is girl who dressed as boy and moves to Paris. Is it? No. Secret Diaries. That doesn't feel right either. I'm gonna have to figure out what that book was, but I did enjoy it. I bet I have it in my Google Docs. My stupid ass. I bet I have something about it in my Google Docs. I don't know why it's become this serious, but it has. Ooh, film paper. I still have so much shit in here. Close reading. Is it The Well of Loneliness? It is The Well of Loneliness, and the girl is indeed called Steven. See, I've been remembering things. Yeah, The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall is at some points in its history, controversial coming-of-age novel about a lesbian called Stephen Gordon. Sometimes I reread, like, papers from college, and I feel like I could do better. I could do better now. What else do we read? Oh, this was, like, our final paper where I had to connect all the fucking gay books. What else did we read? What did I write my film paper about? I wrote my film paper about Jordan Peele. I wrote my intro to film final paper on the ideology in Jordan Peele's Get Out and Us. I remember this now. Leave Her to Heaven? Fractured Light? A Queer Studies reading of... I don't remember this book. Clearly I didn't like it that much. Leave Her to Heaven? Changes... Oh my god, 11 pages? Changes in displayed hunting behavior during the classical conditioning of cats. Doesn't that just sound riveting? Data analysis project? Ugh. Another 12 pages? See, this is why I can't go to grad school, because I complain about 12 pages. And I know in grad school they write some long shit. Oh, there's even stuff from high school in here. I know that shit is bad. I found my final paper for that sociology class, but it doesn't say what the class was. So it would make my life too easy. Ooh, wait. Oh, just kidding. This also doesn't say what it is. I keep thinking there's a customer when I'm literally just trying to go over my my college degree and every single thing I had to do. Ooh. I had to write poetry. I'm not good at poetry, by the way, if you even care. Here's one. A dramatic reading of one of my poems I wrote in college. This is the best I could do. This is like my magnum opus when it comes to poetry. This is what I submitted in college. And this was probably from my junior or senior year. So I was like 21 or 22 when I wrote this. It's called Monster Hunting. When I was a kid, I needed the TV on to fall asleep, to block out the sounds of the monsters, afraid of the noises outside my window, the shapes of the shadow people on the walls, the groans of a house settling, the creaks of the floorboards during a midnight bathroom trip. The older I grew, the less afraid of the monsters under the bed I became, sleeping with the bedroom door open, unimpressed by the monsters in the halls. The shadows on the walls were just trees. The house was just old. The nightlight in the hall made the bathroom not so scary anymore. That line's really bad. I could have did something more with that. See, the monsters under my bed were much less impressive than the ones I grew up to find, because nothing scared me more than the idea of becoming the monster, someone I was afraid to confront in the dark, that would always follow me even if I hid under the blankets. The scariest thing in the world is becoming someone I am ashamed of, that the nightlights can't hide, that the TV can't drown out. Nothing could scare me more than hating what I become. I sleep with the TV off now. Right, I just know I thought I cooked with that. This one's really fucking bad. This one's really bad. You can tell I was over this shit. So fucking... That monster one might be the best one that I wrote, and it's not even good. That's the sad part. What else do I got in here? I wrote this one about Shrek. Skin green as the grass, out from society he was cast. Content he was to live like that in his muddy, swampy habitat. Without permission, his swamp was taken. Everything he knew was shaken. A journey to the princess would reclaim his land, with friends who lent a helping hand. Donkey. Scary as it was to venture outside, leaving his swamp brought the perfect bride, and loyal friends you can't replace, who saw beyond his scary face. So although you like your comfort zone, sometimes it's worth facing the unknown. You never know what you may find could brighten your life and open your mind. So if someone seems different than what you know, learn to see the person below. Everyone snap. Yeah, that's not my finest work. I wrote this, right. I wrote this whole 3-page thing about why I thought I had ADHD. It's very detailed. I clearly was perhaps hyperfixated. I don't know, I'm medicated now. What else was I cooking up in here? Anything interesting? Anything fun? Oh, this seems interesting. Ooh, I do have a letter of recommendation here. Which one is this? It's from Steven! This is my letter of recommendation from Steven. Oh my goodness. Aww. Whenever I needed Liz, she was always willing to help and never once complained. She is the epitome of selfless and was influential in molding the team's culture in our plasma center. I have witnessed Elizabeth quickly de-escalate situations with irate donors, handling plasma donor medical emergencies with poise, and comfort donors who were apprehensive while donating plasma. She always set the precedent high for our center, and this was evident by the number of plasma donors that trusted Elizabeth to perform their phlebotomy procedure. I'm about to cry. Elizabeth's humble nature stops her from giving herself enough credit for her accomplishments, but I will always attest for her significant accomplishments. This is so fucking nice. I love recommendation letters. I'm about to ask everyone to write me a recommendation letter, and I'm about to be like, hey guys, can you write me a recommendation letter? I need it for a job application, and then I just want to see what they say. Is that toxic? I love doing shit like that. Ooh, no, that's my resignation letter. I thought that was another recommendation letter. You know, my resignation letter was kind of passive aggressive. Not towards any of the people I worked with, but like being a part of this team for the past 2 years has been an absolute privilege. While it saddens me to leave, I believe there is a group of remarkable and capable people here who care deeply about the success of this center. The recent months have been very difficult for all of us here, and while I'm certain this group of individuals is more than capable of turning things around, especially if given the time and grace to expand and find their footing, that's code for if you don't turn these fucking appointments down and let these people actually train the new hires and get more people in here and stop scaring them away with the line all the way back to the fucking warehouse. That was code for that. If given the time and grace to expand and find their footing, I simply do not have it in me anymore to be part of that transformation. She cooked a little bit. The faith and guidance I've received from my managers here is something I have never taken lightly and will always carry on with me throughout my career. I hope my resignation in no way reflects negatively on any of the individuals I've been so fortunate to work with on a day-to-day basis, as I only wish success for this team going forward. That means fuck you to everyone. Fuck you, Mike McKinney, our district manager. That means fuck everyone who's not the people I work with in this building. That's what that means. So yeah. Passive aggressive. Not even toward, like, that's, like, headed as Dear Kelly. It's not even passive aggressive towards Kelly, because, like, I worked with her in the building every day. I don't have any beef with her at all. I don't blame her for anything. I blame BioLife on a corporate level for ruining everything. You know what's crazy? I think if they hadn't fucked everything over, I don't know if I'd still be there, but I think I would have worked there for a lot longer, because before they fucked everything up, before everything went to fucking shit, I did enjoy it. Like, low-key, when it's staffed right, when you have enough people, or even like almost enough, because sometimes a little bit of a challenge is fun, or like if it's one of those shifts that's just fucking dog shit awful, you never think it's gonna fucking end, every single thing goes wrong. In the moment, does that suck? Yes. However, once you survive the shift and like once it's over and you're like, especially when I was a supervisor and like it's a horrible fucking close, but then it's over and everybody's stuck and you're kind of just watching everybody and you're like, we really did that, and you gotta like go around and like fist bump everybody and you're like, we really did that, guys, we handled business tonight. I remember there was one night, and this is the one that always sticks in my mind because I remember this is one of like the moments that I think most proud of. There's two that I can immediately think of, but one of my most proudest moments as being a supervisor is like things went, I was closing, right? Things went to shit so far, so fast. Like, I remember I came in, obviously, I think I was working noon to 8:30, but I came in at noon, everything's chill. I go to look at the schedule, and I see, oh, this person called off. Oh, so did this person. Oh, well, at least I have these two people. So, actually 3. I said, at least I have these 3 people. Little did I know. So, I go into the lab where my boss is, and I say, hey, when is so-and-so coming in? Because, like, she was supposed to be here, like, 30 minutes ago. And she said, so-and-so quit. And I said, what do you mean? Because I was already going to be so fucking short-staffed, even with her, even if she was still there, and she quit. She had quit the day before. So it was just me as a supervisor, this other girl who, like, still kind of was learning, like, she could poke people, but she was still kind of learning, and then this other girl who could only take people down, she couldn't poke people, and my boss was kind enough to stay late to help me out. Shouts out to her. But she stayed to process in the lab for us so that I didn't have to be in there and so that I could be, oh my god, a customer? Bro, come on now. Anyways. Everybody wants to be all friendly and talkative. I was the problem. I was the one making conversation. That's the problem with me. Either when I take my Vyvanse, especially if I eat beforehand, if I take my Vyvanse, or even if I like have like a Red Bull or something, I get so chatty. And I think that's part of the and since I started taking the Vyvanse for my ADHD, I feel I'm like so much more social. Like, I want to be doing something. Like every Friday, Saturday, I want to be doing something. Like, I love being around my friends. I love being able to go do something. Me and Gabe go to like a Pistons game. I love doing that kind of shit. Like, I want to be outside. Like, I don't want to be in the house anymore. And that's like, that makes me feel like, oh, that was the fact that I never wanted to leave the house, which is like, as a psychology major, you would think I would have clocked this, but the fact that I never wanted to leave the house was really just like a big part of my depression. Who would have fucking thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Not me. I guess I probably had an idea, but like I said, I've been depressed for so long that I couldn't tell what parts were me and what parts were depression. So now I've learned that, like, I think I'm a socially anxious extrovert. Like, I love to be with my friends. I like to, for the most part, I like to talk and to hang out and go do stuff, but I am often very anxious about it. So I think Vyvanse in a way kind of like curbs a lot of that social anxiety, and so does caffeine, which makes me wonder like what the relation here is. I guess it's like dopamine. Stimulants like up dopamine, and then dopamine make brain not scared. I don't know, bro. All I know is the medication combination that I'm on right now, life-changing. Shout out to my fucking psychiatrist. Even though she was stressing me out sometimes. Sometimes I feel like she's sending my prescription to the wrong pharmacy, and I'm like, girl, they don't have it. And she's like, oh, let me resend it. And then they have it. And I'm like, where did you send it the first time? She's an odd lady. She also really chatty. I love her though. Don't get me wrong, I really like her. Unless she like kicks me to the curb or my insurance changes and she don't take me anymore, I'll probably see her for forever. But yeah, I don't remember why I brought that up. Oh, I was talking about BioLife. About one of the proudest moments of me as a manager. Ooh, I just thought of another one. The other one is kind of like, I don't know if it's something I should be proud of, but for like in the moment, I was like, hell yeah. But yeah, there was that time I managed to close the whole center with only like, one other phlebotomist, not including me, and then my manager who was in the lab who would like hop out when she could, and then we had one person who could do disconnects, and we cooked that night. I would flood one section. I would have the girl who could only do disconnects, have her watch it. When they started coming down, she would take them down. While she was doing that, we would flood another section, and then she would move, and then we would go flood another section, and she would move. We were fucking pumping out donors. And then my manager who was in the lab, she'd jump out and help us flood like the two sections in the middle right in front of the lab. We were cooking. We cooked that night. I remember after, like, everybody was stuck and we were kind of just standing around, and like me and the other girl and the girl who was doing disconnects, we were just kind of looking at each other like, hey, we survived. We did that. So that was I felt really proud after that. So that's what I mean, like, you have these really fucking shitty shifts, and then once you survive them and once you're like, hell yeah, like, it's such like a, I don't know, I feel very proud. There was another time, again as a manager, where we had this donor he had a really bad reaction after he was already off the machine, but it was a really bad reaction, and they were like, hey, he needs more saline. And so when they're off the machine, there's like a different process you have to do to give them saline when they're not on the machine anymore. but I had never done it before. I had been trained in it. But like for shit like that, low-key, you like watch somebody do it once or twice, you do it with them once or twice, and then they're like, okay, signed off, you can do it. But it's like, it feels like one of those things where you get trained in it and you're like, well, I'm never gonna have to do that. So plot twist, I did have to do that. But he was having a really bad reaction, and I went up to my other boss and I said, hey twin, I think he's having a really bad reaction. The nurse wants to do a Y set, which is what the thing is called. And he's like, I'm in the middle of something right now. Like, can you take care of it? Like, I can't walk away from this. And I said, okay, yeah, I can take care of it. And I went over there and I did it. I don't know how long was between the time that I learned it and the time that I had to do it. It wasn't like right away, because I remember being like, I cannot believe I remembered how to do that. It was really like this is stupid comparison. Like when you have adrenaline and you're like, I could fucking do anything right now, like, you know what I mean? Like people like fucking lift cars. There's so much adrenaline. That's how I feel like I felt. I just locked the fuck in. It was just me. And then I didn't want to number one, I was like, this donor needs saline now. And then number two, the nurse is standing right there. I can't embarrass myself in front of the fucking nurse. So I'm like, all right, bitch, well, you're gonna lock in. So I did it. And then I remember we got him a saline. He was good. They took him back to the nurse's office. He like laid down or whatever. And then I went up to my boss and I was like, bro, I've never done one of those. And he was like, really? And I was like, yes, bro, like, I don't know. I've never done one of those by myself. And he was like, well, I couldn't tell. And I was like, I felt so goated after that. And then after those specific moments, especially that one with the donor and the saline, those specific moments, I'm not kidding, I think about, not necessarily all the time, but if something happens and I'm like scared and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, I think about stuff like that and I'm like, you did that was way harder and way scarier. And I remember even when I was scared to even learn phlebotomy. Like, I had started up front, I was poking fingies. I was scared to even learn phlebotomy. And, like, I did it. I was terrified. And I did it. So I always tell myself, like, if you can do that, like, you can nut the fuck up and do anything. And so far, it's worked pretty good. The last thing that I can think about when I was a manager that I was, like, kind of proud of is this is like kind of bare minimum, but I stood up for one of my employees to a donor who was being a bitch. I've got a voicemail. Oh, it's somebody I owe money to. But there's this donor talking shit to one of my, I don't want to call her like my employees, but like, because she's not my employee, but like one of my team members, like I was supervising her. She was like talking shit to her, and don't get me wrong, like, her and this donor already didn't like each other, like, from previous interactions, but I'm like, my thought process was, I don't care if you don't like each other, like, why are you coming in here today being disrespectful? She hasn't done anything to you today. I don't care what she did before. She hasn't done anything to you today. And she's sitting there, she's her donations done. This is, like, the era of BioLife where everything was horrible. This was, like, towards the end of when I was leaving, and everything was dog shit, ass, nightmare level shit. But, so I was kind of fed up. I didn't care anymore. Everybody was pissing me off. Not my coworkers. Love them forever. Love my coworkers forever. Not them, but like the donors, a fucking upper management pissing me off, as you can tell from my passive-aggressive resignation letter. But she was talking shit and was like, upset that my coworker didn't come take her down fast enough, which was something that happened so often. Like, when we got to that point, is people would be sitting there for like a minute and they'd be like, I'm done, and we'd be like, I know, the machine makes a noise and flashes a light. I know that you're done. I know that do you think I'm intentionally ignoring you? I want you gone as much as you fucking do. I want you up on my fucking face. You think I don't? You think I want you here? No. But she was doing one of those, and she was talking shit to my coworker, and about how she wasn't moving fast enough. And I was like, I was not aggressive or like bitchy, but I was basically like, you can't come in here and be disrespectful to the staff in here. I don't care if you're done donating, I will defer you so you can't come back. And she did not like that. And she said, well, I didn't ask for your input. And I said, I don't care if you asked. I didn't ask for your input on what the fuck my staff member is doing. I don't remember what I called her. I don't know if I called her that, because that's like not something I really ever said. But I'm not like a confrontational person. But in that moment, I was so fucking irritated, and I was like, because she was being loud about it. She was complaining about my coworker so fucking loud, and I was like, you're pissing me off. Don't fucking complain about my coworker. So that was one of the other things where I was like, yeah, I did say that. I need to buy a car. I need to buy a car really bad. I am saving money for it. I am saving as much of my money from the vape shop as I can for a car, perhaps, hopefully. Not hopefully, but like, that's what I'm saving it for. I just love spending money on other stuff. And what's stupid is I know that I can oh my god. I was just dusting out there, and I feel like it's all in my like nasal cavity. Oh, I went to Lollapalooza, right? In July. It was at the end of July. And I was like, I have horrible money management. I didn't have any money. So like Lollapalooza's at the end of July. At the end of July. Towards the end of June, I was like, I make $160 every weekend at the vape shop. Yes. And so I was like, okay, bitch, like from here until you leave, I work every weekend. From here until you leave, you're not spending any of this fucking money from the vape shop. You're gonna save up all of it, and that's gonna be your Lollapalooza money. And I did. And I saved up like over $600 in whatever time frame it was. And like, that was my Lollapalooza money. So Lollapalooza was enough motivation for me to save up all this money and not spend any of it and have some semblance of self-control. But a car isn't. You see where my priorities lie. You see where all of my problems originate, probably. Right. I think, and I'm not trying to blame anyone, but I think it was a little bit easier that at that time because like me and a bunch of my friends were going, so we were all kind of managing our money differently than we normally would, because we're like, hey, we got Lollapalooza at the end of the month. We're gonna be spending money. We need to like rein it in. So I think we were all kind of being frugal at that point. And then like now recently, I'm the only fucking loser who's broke, I guess. Broke bitch. So yeah, I be trying to keep up. Like, I went out last night with what money? I don't know. One of my debit cards declined at the bar. I used the other one, but I was like, no. And the bartender was so nice about it too. He came back, he was so nice about it. He came back and he goes, could your card be locked? Smiling, he knew it wasn't locked. I said, probably not, and I gave him my other debit card. Hey man, I'm broke. I also used that debit card like a gift card. Like how you never really check the balance on a gift card, you just kind of swipe it and you're like, whatever's on there is on there. That's how I use that debit card. I don't know how much money is in the account. I really don't check it that much. I just know sometimes I use it and I'm like, hey, there might be money in there. I don't know. So that's what I was doing last night. It was like, well, let's see. It was like one of those moments. But then I used my other debit card and it was fine. My other debit card, by the way, I have SoFi. SoFi's so fucking goated. Like, they've never, I don't know if I'll ever change banks. The only thing that I don't like about them is that they don't have any physical locations, obviously. But, like, I can work around that. I really like SoFi because, number one, I usually get paid 2 days early. I love that. A lot of banks do that, though, but, like, I do love that. Also, I have money deposited into my checking account, and I have it set up to, like, automatically take money from my direct deposit and like I have different, I call them vaults. I have like, it's like the envelope saving method. Like people have envelope for like their rent and envelope for their power bill, stuff like that, except it's virtual, electronic, whatever you want to call it. But it's like my savings account is broken down into lots of different little savings account, and I can set it up to transfer certain amounts of money into those savings account, which is how I pay all my bills every month. Because if I didn't do that, I think I would not. I mean, there are already some bills that get paid late, but hey, I work with what I have. So I do like that feature. And then the other thing I really like about them is they don't charge like an overdraft fee. At least they've never charged me one. I'll be like negative $40. No overdraft fee. And you know what the crazy thing is? I'll be like negative $10. And I'm like, damn, I kind of want some McDonald's though. I go on the McDonald's app, I press order, it goes through. Now I'm like negative $15. Why are they spotting me money? Like my bank account is already negative. They let me put it more negative. That's why me and SoFi are so fucking locked in. I do have a Huntington account for the sake of like ease. Like if I have cash that I really need to deposit, I'll deposit it at Huntington and then transfer it to SoFi, not Spotify. You ever lose your train of thought in the middle of speaking? Yeah, I do. I wonder if I can get my Spotify Wrapped. I think it's funny. My Spotify Wrapped is a hot mess. I tweeted about it. I bet I could find it on Twitter. Let's see. Oh, that's not... Is that not my... No, it is my username. What if I kill myself? I'd be wrong. I don't know how to get to Twitter anymore. I just Google. I know it's not Twitter anymore. To me it is. I also don't know if I know my password. I'm about to fucking find out. Shit. That's not it. That's not it either. Huh. Can I not? Do I have to log in? Can I not just look at stuff on here? I don't really want to do that. That's not that serious. I just kind of wanted to see it. My search history right now is did Laura Marano and Ross Lynch date? Mop Roomba. Discordant definition. Book about little girl who dad wishes she was boy. The boy who wasn't there. The secret life of Charlotte Bronte. Bronte? I don't know. And then my Twitter username. I don't know. I really wish that I could find it. No, I can't do that. Either. Whatever. My Spotify Wrapped is a hoot. It's not that exciting. It's just always like, every year I always think it's kind of dumb, and I'm like, I was really listening to that, wasn't I? I might be able to find it. I did, in fact, find it. No one cares. No one cares about any of this. Like I said, I'm here for funsies. I'm here to entertain myself. I have my 2018 one. I'm missing a year or two. I usually screenshot the end, and then I have 2018. 2018, my top artist was Demi Lovato. I don't know what I was doing in 2018. I really don't feel like I listened to that much Demi Lovato. I thought I heard a customer pulling in. I was gonna kill myself. And then Cardi B's also on there. Black Bear's on there. I don't know what I was going through in 2018. I was so not like other girls. I thought I had 2019, but I don't think I do. It's so crazy why doesn't that one have a year on it? Now I'm mad. No. This one doesn't have a year either, bro. What the fuck? It might be this one. This one, I'm missing 2019, I think. Unless, no, it's not. No, bitch, this one came. I'm an idiot. I'm missing 2019, but my top artist since 2020 has been Taylor Swift every year. And for a lot of the years, number 2 has been Megan Thee Stallion. So, like, 2019, and it's really funny because, like, usually, a lot of the times, there's no Taylor Swift songs in my top songs because I just listen to a lot of Taylor Swift in general. I don't really listen to any specific songs. But number 1 was Taylor Swift. Number 2 was Megan Thee Stallion. Number 3 was Amy Winehouse. I went through quite an Amy Winehouse phase. I love Valerie. Also, I love Fuck Me Pumps. Tears Dry on Their Own. Fucks with those. Obviously, then the iconic ones, Back to Black. Who doesn't love? Wow. I really wish that I knew what years these were from. This one, Reputation, was... There was a track from Reputation that was one of my top ones. My top artists... Wish I knew what year this was. Is this? Cool, neither of these have years. My most recent one, number 1, Taylor Swift. Number 2, Megan Thee Stallion. And yet again, no Taylor Swift in my top songs. Okay. So I have Taylor Swift, Megan Thee Stallion, Sleep Token, Teddy Swims, and SZA. SZA is interesting. I didn't feel like I listened to that much SZA, but hey, clearly my listening habits say otherwise. But my top songs are Best Love Song by T-Pain. I knew that was going to be my top song. I listened to that bitch on repeat. I probably listened to it a bajillion times. And then it's Ain't Nothing New by T Grizzly. I don't know why, but I like that song a lot. Something about if you fuck with me, I fuck with you. Hope you find some shit in me that ends up stuck with you. I like that line a lot. Something about that really stuck with me. Hope you find some shit in me that sticks with you. It stuck with me. Wait. And then Rain by Sleep Token. And just like the rain. I love that song. I love that. I saw Sleep Token in September at Little Caesars Arena, if you even fucking care. I also saw Taylor Swift. Actually, I saw Taylor Swift, Megan Thee Stallion, and Sleep Token. I saw Taylor Swift at Ford Field for the Eras Tour. I missed the Eras Tour. I saw Megan Thee Stallion last time she was in Detroit, and I lost my driver's license in the arena, and I had to order a new one. Sleep Token I saw with my little brother. And then my 4th song was In My Room by Julia Wolf. I think that's her name. That emo-ass song. I want your things in my room. I miss you all of the time. Number 5 was Are You Even Real by Teddy Swims, which makes sense. I do like that song a lot. I thought it was gonna be She's Got It. If it was gonna be any Teddy Swims songs, I thought it would be that one because I'd like that one a lot. I feel like I listened to it a lot. This one was, I think, last year's, and this one does feature 3 Taylor Swift songs. Actually, all 5 of my top songs are artists that are in my top artists, which never happens. My top artists were Taylor Swift, Megan Thee Stallion, Renee Rapp, Sleep Token, and Polyphia. So as you can see, my listening habits just broadly don't change that much year to year. Taylor Swift, Megan Thee Stallion, Sleep Token, all making their second appearances this year. For I think Megan might be on another year as number 2. But my top songs are The Summoning by Sleep Token, Hiss by Megan Thee Stallion, and then Down Bad, Guilty as Sin, and Loss of My Life from LML. LOML from Taylor Swift. So clearly I was really feeling the Tortured Poets Department, which is still, I think, my favorite Taylor Swift album. It's either that, Reputation, or Folklore. I don't know what's the black and white albums really get me. I love those. And then, what are we cooking with? I think 2020, is this 2023? I think it was. When did Midnights come out? Taylor Swift Midnights? Was it 2022? Release date 2022? Holy shit. That feels like a million years ago. Well, my top artist that year was, surprise, Taylor Swift. And then no Megan Thee Stallion on this year. No Megan Thee Stallion. Paramore's on there. Yumi's on there. Michael Jackson is on there, which was so random. Michael Jackson making a random appearance in 2022 was so funny to me. Like, did I listen to that much Michael Jackson? I probably did. Probably. Clearly I did. And then Mac Miller. Which I also was surprised because I didn't feel like I listened to that much Mac Miller. This is a common theme with me. I don't realize how much I listen to artists. I mean, that's the point of Spotify Wrapped, I guess, to be like, I listen to what? But my top songs were Taylor Swift, Paramore, You Me, Plastic Hearts by Miley Cyrus. I liked that song a lot. And then All Too Well 10-minute version. All Too Well 10-minute version's kind of wild because it's 10 minutes. When did Taylor's 1989 Taylor's version release? See, I can tell what years these are from because of the Taylor album cover that's on 2023. Okay, so 2022 was Taylor, 2023 was also Taylor. 2023, Lin-Manuel Miranda also made an appearance on my 2023. I listened to Hamilton a lot, so yeah. I wish I had my because I have 2018, which was Demi Lovato, and then 2020, which was Taylor Swift. And I wish I had my 2019 because my top song was from the Beetlejuice musical. So I just think that's funny. And I wish I knew what my other top songs were because clearly I was on some shit that year. My top 2 songs in 2023 were Headlines by Drake and Asleep by the Smiths. 2 very different vibes. I was going through some things, apparently, in 2023. I think this was 2024. One of these is 2024. I don't know. It actually really doesn't matter. This is this year. 2024 was the sleep. Torture Post Department. 2023. This, I think, was 2022. Am I also missing 2021? This is extremely unlike me. It's extremely unlike me to not have these. I'm missing 2021 and 2019. That doesn't sound like me. I love Spotify Wrapped. I love Spotify Wrapped. Like, Chris, 'tis the season. The reason for the season to me is Spotify Wrapped. Like, my friends will text me and be like, hey, when is Spotify Wrapped? I'm like, I don't know. Or they'll text me and be like, Spotify Wrapped dropped. They know it's serious to me. Like, this year, we knew, like, relatively within, like, what few days it was gonna drop, and I was checking every morning. And then when it finally dropped, I hit the group chat, and I was like, Spotify Wrapped dropped. Like, it's a holiday for me. I love Spotify Wrapped Day. So the fact that I don't have 2019 and 2021 is odd to me. It's not this one, is it? No, it's not. Is life even worth living? Man, this is really gonna piss me off. Because I bet I have them somewhere. Whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. My email inbox there's 31,000 emails in there. It's probably not a lot compared to most people, but I still get emails from Wayne State. I graduated 3 years ago now, which also is insane. I feel really old. The fact that I graduated 3 years ago. 3 years ago really recently too, because I graduated in December. I graduated a semester early. Do you even care? It's because I took summer classes. My first and second year, when I went to school at Schoolcraft, I also worked on campus, in the registration office. I really liked that job. That job was super chill, and I really liked my coworkers because obviously it was other college kids. So I really liked them. We used to hang out a little bit, not anymore. Haven't seen them in probably 3 years, 2 or 3 years. probably like 3 or 4 years, realistically. We met up for like lunch or something. I did have this one coworker. He was born in Afghanistan, but lived in Ukraine and came to the US for like, he came to the US pretty recently. Like when I knew him, it was within the last like year or two. So the really fun thing was, we were like some of his first like real American friends. The shit that we taught him, the shit that we introduced him to, like the one girl that I worked with, she taught him a bunch of like, sorry, I need to crack my back real bad. She taught him a bunch of like slang and stuff. We showed him Cupcake. We showed him Deep Throat by Cupcake. I have a video of him listening to that in the registration office, by the way, like at work. No students were in there, but we had him listening to it in the registration office. I have so many like videos and pictures from that job because we were just dicking around. Oh, to be dicking around with your coworkers at work. You never realize what you have until you don't have it anymore. Why do I have a grown-up job? I barely have, like, I have coworkers, but a lot of the time it's just me in the office by myself. Isn't that sad? And when there are other people in there, we're not really like hanging out or anything. Like, it's hard for a job that you take seriously and care about because, like, I'm not goofing off at work. I mean, I kind of am because I'm, like, watching TV and, like, between patients, there's not really that much to do. Like, I can do patient notes, I can, like, clean around the office, I can order supplies and shit. But it's outside of that stuff, like, there's really not that much to do. So sometimes I'm on my phone or I'm watching TV. But yeah, it's, like, not a job that I, like, don't care about. And not that I didn't care about my job at the registration office, but, like, we were goofing off a lot. Like, we were student employees. We were goofing off. Our boss was, like, super, super chill. His name was Joe. But yeah, I have quite a few videos and pictures of him just goofing off. Really all of us, but oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind. Oh my god, and my Apple Card payment is due. Whatever. I don't even fucking care anymore. I don't even fucking care anymore, for real. I care. I have it's just one thing after a fucking another. I'm getting a root, I already got the root canal. I got the root canal, I got the temporary crown. I'm getting my permanent crown on Monday. Let me tell you, dental work is so expensive, it's not even funny. It's so expensive that, like, it should be a crime. Like, to the point where it's like, why do I have dental insurance? They pay for 2 cleanings a year. And I'm not gonna lie, I usually only get 1. I know that I'm supposed to get 2, but a lot of the time I don't go for the second one. I'll schedule it the first one because they're like, do you want to schedule your second cleaning? And you're like, of course. I schedule it and then I cancel it. I don't want to go. I don't want to go unless my tooth hurts. I do have a cleaning coming up in January that I am for sure going to go to because I got this root canal. Spent my whole life savings on it, is $800. Oh, my dental benefits reset on January 1st. This is what the receptionist at the dental office told me. She's real as fuck for explaining this to me, but my dental benefits reset on January 1st, so they'll, like, start covering shit again. I guess right now, like, I've maxed out my benefits. I didn't know that could happen. This is news to me. I'm glad I know that now. I'm glad I got the root canal at the end of the year because I'm gonna get this cleaning in January, right? And they're gonna do x-rays. And they're gonna say, hey girl, there's a problem. And I'm gonna say, is it this tooth back here? I'm well aware. It's becoming such a problem. Like, I can't touch that tooth. If I touch it, even with my finger, immediate sharp stabbing pain, can't touch. It's like, I think I already explained this, but there's like a filling missing from it, and I want to get it taken out. Sometimes I feel like I just be saying the same shit over and over, because I know I've talked about BioLife before, I know I've talked about my fanfiction before, I know I've talked about this damn tooth before. Justice doesn't have COVID. We're so fucking up. Justice doesn't have COVID. Let's go. Oh, I don't think I ever finished explaining my favorite patients, because I talked about the one younger girl who cried when she was done with treatment, who made me a card and made me a painting, and then I talked about the one lady who was watching Tubi movies in the morning. I don't know if you've ever seen a Tubi movie. They're kind of crazy sometimes. I'd be like, I don't know if we can be watching this at work. I don't know if we can be watching this on the company TV, but nobody ever said anything. And if they said something, I'd be like, oh, I didn't realize that we were, like, I'll tell her next time we can't watch that. But I loved her. She was one of those ones that, like, at the beginning, I was kind of like, but then quickly, like, the more I got to talk to her and the more I got to know her, I really, really liked her. I'm realizing that a lot of the time, my favorite patients are, like, the chatty ones. She was chatty. Like, she was not shy. Like, she was chatty off the bat. And I liked that. We got to like, talk. We got to know each other pretty well. Well, she didn't get to know me very well. But, like, there would be times where her appointment was at 8, right? So she would be 8 to 9. And then I didn't have a lot of the times I didn't have another appointment until, like, 10 or 10:30. So there would be times, like, she would just sit and we would just, like, talk. And, like, I remember there was one time that and it was, like, usually we weren't chit-chatting. Like, she would show me, like, what she was doing in the house and stuff, and, like, oh, I just added this to my bathroom and did this and this. She would show me, like, pictures sometimes, so sometimes it would just be that. But there was this one day she was there for, like, an extra hour after treatment and was just, like crying to me about, like, what was going on with her. And I don't know, something about it just feels so, like, special. You know what I mean? Like, getting to be that person that people confide in. Maybe I should be a therapist. I do like that shit. And then people tell me all the time I would be a good therapist, but I don't know. I don't know if I have the discipline to go to grad school. Also, I saw that when you're in grad school, to do stuff like that, you have to, like, do mock therapy appointments, like, in front of your whole class. Yeah, I might be good on that. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm scared to do that. But there was her. I had a patient. This one's really recent. He only finished treatment within, like, the last few weeks. But I was really sad when he finished. Like, another one of those ones where I was, like, didn't really like him that much at first, because he came in immediately and was like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, like, I prefer the TV off. I'd rather just, like, chat. And I was like, oh God, I don't know if I can do that. But, like, we chatted every day. Like, he came in for treatment every day and we would just talk, because, like, that's what he didn't want the TV on. And, like, after a while it became easy. You know, like, you get to, like I said, you get to know each other. I see these people every day for 6 weeks. You get to know these people. For the most part. Some of them are. There was one patient, I still don't know anything about that man. I know he has grandkids. That's all I know. Like, he didn't talk. I would ask him questions. That's the hard part too, is sometimes with patients, it's hard to tell if people are like me and are, like, they want to talk and they will talk to you, or if they're just like socially anxious, or if they're like, don't talk to me, I don't want to talk to you. So it's hard to tell sometimes. But I really liked him, actually, a lot. And I was sad when he finished treatment. Weirdly, like, there will be moments where I think, this sounds stupid, there will be moments, like, when I think of him, and, because he would come in all the time and be like, drinking that Red Bull, those are bad for you. And I'd be like, I know. And he'd be like, you're having Cheez-Its for breakfast? And I'd be like, I know. He's the one who told me to go to the dentist when I was complaining about this tooth, and he said, you know, that can kill you. You should go to the dentist. And I said, oh. So then I went to the dentist, and I said, I went to the dentist, and you were right, and it was infected, and I need a root canal. And he said, see, aren't you glad you went to the dentist? He, like, turned into my dad, low-key. But yeah, really miss him. Sometimes when I have, like, a shitty meal for breakfast, like, if I have a fucking, like, a cookie or a brownie for breakfast, I'll be like, he would hate this. He would hate this for me. So, I do miss him more than I thought I would. It's the chatty patients, bro. I don't really have any chatty patients right now. Everybody's been quiet lately. I don't like that. Where are the yappers? where are the depressed yappers? Where are you guys? I need you to come out of the WordWorks and come get TMS. Anyways, there was him, and then there was another patient who, and they have said this before, and that like we do PHQs like every week to track their symptoms and see if they're going down and are you feeling better. And like the last question on there is obviously like any thoughts of like suicide or like any thoughts of harming yourself. And like if they don't mark 0, if they mark anything other than 0, like we have to ask them, are these like active thoughts? Like, do you have a plan? Do you have intent to harm yourself? Are these passive thoughts? Like stuff like that. And they say like in our meetings when they're saying like you have to ask people these questions, they say like it's a good way to build like rapport and like a relationship with the patient. And I thought that was bullshit. And so like the first time I really had to do it, because there's a surprisingly like, it just really surprised me that most people, I don't know if they're lying because they think that they're like something's gonna happen if they don't, but like surprisingly most people mark 0 on that. And I'm like, when I was depressed I wanted to die all the time. But he had marked like a 3, which means every day I have these thoughts every day. And so I asked him, like, I had that conversation, and he was one of those people that was like, I've never really like admitted that before. So, and then I had to remind him, like, if those thoughts ever become active, this is somewhere that you can share. Or if like, even if they're passive and you just want to talk about it, like, this is a safe space, basically. I have to be clear, I'm not a trained clinician. I am not a therapist. I cannot offer you therapeutic advice or any therapeutic services. But if you want to talk, I'll listen. So actually, that was, funny enough, that was a really good way to build rapport. Because after that, like, we were super chill. Like, we would talk all the time. We would chat. Like, you know, like, that was like my friend. But yeah, those are my 4 favorite patients. Anyways, that's kind of it. I'm just thinking about life. Sometimes patients will ask me, like, I've mentioned that they'll ask me if I tried TMS, and I'll be like, no, they did do the mapping on me, like, for practice, for people to get certified. They like did my mapping, which also is so weird because like they stimulate on your motor strip, which is like what controls movement. So they stimulate up and down it until they want to stimulate the part of your motor strip that makes your right hand twitch. So they want to make your right hand twitch, and then they want to make your right thumb or index finger twitch. And because that's like a benchmark for how we know where to treat. But it's so weird having your brain. It's like when the doctor like hits your knee and then your like knee reflexively kicks. It's like that, but it's like they stimulate part of your brain and then like your hand twitches. It's so, like, when they were doing it to me, I was like, this is so weird, like my hand is moving and I'm not doing that. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. So I'll tell them like, oh, they did the mapping on me, but like I've never done the treatment before. And sometimes they'll like be talking about all the medications they've tried, because most of these people have tried a bunch of antidepressants and like they didn't work for them, and that's why they're in treatment. Because a lot of times insurance will only cover TMS if you've tried a bunch of antidepressants, because that's how, like, antidepressants are like the first line treatment, and then like something like TMS, or we also do Spravato, something like that is like second line. So they want to see you've all tried all this shit before. So a lot of them have taken a lot of the antidepressants, and like we'll be talking about it, and they'll be like this might be really personal, but like, have you taken any of those medications? And I'll be like, yeah. Yeah, I have. I usually don't go any further than that unless they like really start asking questions. If they ask me like, have you tried any of these medications, I'll say, yeah, I have, and just kind of leave it at that. But I'm not gonna lie. And also I feel like it, in some ways, if that was me, I would feel like more comfortable, I guess, knowing that like the person I'm talking to like gets it. And I've had that conversations before with patients, because a lot of the times they'll like I said, like, this is the only space that sometimes they can talk about it, but they'll say things like nobody in my life really gets it. Like, they all just think that I need to like get out more, and like I need to, you know, exercise and stuff like that. And I'm just, it's a, like, I just need to pick my mood up, and like it's a choice. And some of it probably is like lifestyle, because I know for me it's probably a lot of like lifestyle stuff, but it's also like when you're depressed like that, it's like it's like a hole you cannot climb out of. And like no matter how hard you try, and a lot of the time too is like, yes, it'd probably be good if I went out and I exercised, and it'd probably be good if I had a better diet and like ate real food, and it would probably be good if I went out and got some sunshine. All those things would probably be really good. But when you're depressed like that, you can't, like it really feels impossible. Especially like to make it a habit, like to do it enough for it to become like beneficial. It's like it feels impossible. It really does. So they'll talk about stuff like that, about how like nobody around them gets it, and I'll always tell them like, no, you don't get it until you get it. Like, it's one of those things that I feel like you can't really understand how it feels unless you felt it too. And so then sometimes that kind of like clues them in, like they're like, wow, you like really understand what I'm feeling. I'm like, yeah, I do, twin. I do. I've been there. I've been there. So I don't know, sometimes it really does seem like it makes them like feel more comfortable, and like betters our relationship. I had a patient thank me for not giving up on her. That was one of like it was one of those moments with my job that, and this sounds so fucking corny, but it was one of those moments that's like this is why I do this job. Like shit like this is why I do this job. But she thanked me for not giving up on her, and what means so much to me about that is like it was cool to be like recognized, because I really did kind of go above and beyond for her, and like really encouraging her to get into treatment, and like really encouraging her to come to treatment, and like always kind of like checking in with her. She would like miss appointments and stuff, and like randomly like drop off the face of the earth, and I would always like, I would call her and be like, hey girl, like is everything okay, like do you want to come back to treatment, is it something you're interested in, like how are you doing? And sometimes she would come back, and then like things would kind of drop off again, but she had kind of dropped off the face of the earth for like 2 months, and like was not feeling like treatment was helping her. So I remember there was a day I called her and I said, hey, I know that you're feeling really discouraged with this treatment. We have another treatment, Spravato, which is nasal spray. I said, we have another treatment that I think maybe you should at least talk to the doctor about it. Maybe it's something that you should try. And she tried it, and she like, thinking about her is like, it warms my heart so much. Like, I remember the first time, like when I was treating her the first round of treatment that she was doing, she came in, like she was starting to do better, and she came in one day and she like had her hair done, like she went and got her hair braided, and she was like, this is such like a big deal for me, like I don't, like the fact that she cared enough about herself to do that was like a big deal. And it was like, we were really excited. I was like, hell yeah, I love that. I love that you had like the motivation to do that, and like the care enough for yourself to go do that. So like that was a really good moment. And then like there was a lot of setbacks after that. But she started doing the Spravato treatment, and I remember there was a day that I don't do the Spravato treatment, so I really don't see or talk to her that much anymore. But like she'll walk past the office that I'm in, and we'll always wave. I'll say, hey girl, and she'll say hi. And there was one day she walked past and she had her hair done. She had her hair done differently. And I was like, I know what that means. So I had to go, I had to go chat with her for a second. We ended up talking for like 15 minutes. But I told her, I was like, I said, you got your hair done. I love it. And she said, yeah, you noticed. I said, yes. And I told her, like, I remember the first time you did treatment, like the first time you got your hair done. And like, it was such like it felt like I don't want to say it wasn't like an achievement, but it felt like it was like a big deal. Like there's a word for it. I don't remember, I don't know what the word is, and that's gonna piss me off, but it was like, I don't want to say an achievement, but it's kind of like that. Like, it was really rewarding. Like, we were both, it was like a win. We were both super excited about it. And I said, I remember that, and I saw you get your hair done again differently, and I was like, I just wanted to, like, to tell you that I love it and see how you were doing, because we don't really get to talk. She just, like I said, she just walks by, waves, we wave to each other, but we don't really get to talk, and we just kind of talked, and it was so, and I told her this. I said, you look like a different person. Like, you're like a different person than when I first met you. Like, in a good way, in a great way. Like, I was telling her, like, I've never seen you, and it's like, I don't know her personally, obviously, but I'm like, I've never seen, like, I knew her for about 6 months, which is longer than you normally see patients for about a month and a half, and then that's kind of it. But she was so, like, in and out of treatment. I wound up, like, treating her off and on for, like, 6 months, so, like, I had seen her a lot. I got to know her pretty well, and I was like, I've never seen you like this. Like, you seem so, like, lively, I guess. And she was like, this treatment has, like, changed my life. Like, I was really happy for her, because there's, like, I don't know, I guess in jobs like this, like, I don't know if this is unprofessional, but I feel like there's always going to be people that, like, kind of, like, hold a special place in your heart almost, and she's like that person for me. Like, I really like a lot of the patients, I've enjoyed a lot of the patients, but she's one that, like, I really was invested in helping. Like, I really, really wanted to help this lady, and the fact that we did makes me so happy. Because, like I said, I remember the first day she came to treatment. Like, she's cried with me. We've talked about, like, some of the, like, really hard things that she's experienced, and, like, to see her be so, like, and it's weird because, like I said, I'm on this new medication that, like, made me feel like that. Like, it made me, like, I don't have to feel that way. It was like a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I was in a very long, very dark tunnel. I was so far back in the tunnel, I didn't even know there was a light at the end. And so, like, this medication was like the light at the end of the tunnel. It was like so what she told me is that basically this medication, or this treatment that she was doing, was like the light at the end of the tunnel for her, and she said it made her realize that things are not hopeless. She said that this treatment has made her somebody that, like, she can tell other people it's not hopeless. Like, there is hope. Like, you can feel okay. And she and I both said the same thing, is like, her 6 months ago would have never said that, wouldn't have even thought that, let alone said it. And I was just like, I am so happy to see you doing so well. Like, I thought about it all day after. I thought about it all week. Like, I still think about it. Every time I see her, I'm like, I don't know. It just makes me so, she was so, like, we were talking and she was, like, smiling, and she was, like, really holding, like, eye contact. Like, she was so, like I said, just lively. And I was like, oh my God. And it's also kind of like, I've never seen her like this. So when you see somebody and they're so down, you really don't get an idea of, like, who they are or what they're like. But to see her like that, I was like, I don't know. It's just like, this is you. This is who you are. This is you. And it was really special. It was really special to get to see that. So, yeah. And she thanked me for not giving up on her, and for, like, kind of being annoying about it and being like, hey, do you want to come back to treatment? Do you want to try a different treatment? I'll set you up with a doctor right now. And then I called her the day before the appointment, and I said, your appointment is tomorrow. You're going to talk to the doctor, right? And she said, yeah, I'm going to talk to the doctor. And I said, okay. If you don't talk to the doctor, you know I will call you again. And she said, yeah, I know. And I said, okay, just making sure you know. So she thanked me for never giving up on her, and that meant a lot too. So, yeah. So that's one of, like, That's one of those things that I think I'll think about forever. I think I will think about for forever. So sometimes my job is very, 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 very rewarding, and I love that. It makes Mondays less miserable. So yeah, I think that's all I got. I think that's all I got, gang. I've absolutely been talking for over an hour. And I do feel like I could still come up with more to say, but this is actually getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. So, peace out. Yeah, that's it.